checks again.
Cassidy knows it's unlikely for Bonomo to have flopped a flush. Probably thinks his two pair is good.
Cassidy fires 8,500, and Bonomo folds.
Justin was drawing live, but if Joe had even one diamond, that would eliminate 25% of Justin's outs.
Even though he raked in that pot, Joe Cassidy is still stuck over 50 grand.
That's right. He's nicknamed the Sheriff. He went to school at George Washington University, and he's got 12 World Series of Poker cashes notched in his belt. Still stuck tonight, though.
And of note, he also has the deepest voice of any pro we've had here in the big game.
He should come in here and do some commentary.
He might if he keeps running like he has been this week. Justin Bonomo raises to 1,400.
Justin Bonomo with a very liberal interpretation of suited connectors.
Cassidy, King 10 offsuit, folds.
Pretty tight fold, respecting Justin's under the gun raise.
Ace Queen. I don't think this hand's going anywhere for Danny Alaei.
Maybe Joe was respecting the under the gun raise. Maybe he knew Danny was going to wake up with Ace Queen.
Danny calls. Nadya folds. And so we're down to 2 on the flop.
These guys just can't seem to stay out of each other's way.
Jack deuce 5, 2 spades.
Look at that. Danny whiffs.
And checks.
Justin's still behind, but he's the favorite to make the best hand with a gut shot and a flush draw.
Bonomo bets 3,000. And Alaei folds to Bonomo again.
Nice little semi-bluff from Justin.
And he continues to add more cash to his stack.
Those lights go off every time I bluff Danny.
Now, to be fair, it was only a semi-bluff this time.
Well, in that case, we'll take a semi-break and be back with more after this. Welcome back to Las Vegas for more of the big game. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose. And with less than 15 hands to go, Nadya Magnus finds herself with a nice profit of around 40 grand. But if she wants a chance to earn that North American Poker Tour passport, she needs to beat the loose cannon Ernest Wiggins, who leads the way with more than $50,000 in profits. Action begins with Nadya.
Easy fold for her. Be interesting to see whether she widens her range to try to win that passport or tightens up to hang on to her profit.
Justin raised behind her. Got a couple players out of the way. Joe Cassidy, small pocket pair in the small blind. Calls. Danny, Queen 7, folds.
Justin's raised with Jack 10 from the cutoff. I don't know if you've heard, Chris, but the cutoff is the new button.
I'll write that down in my rule book. King 9 tray, 2 hearts.
Justin's flopped a gut shot.
Cassidy checks on over to Bonomo, who fires 3,000.
Bonomo just does not stop betting. Cassidy's got the best hand with 2 5s.
Cassidy calls.
He's going to see at least one more card.
The turn, Jack of clubs. Check by Cassidy.
Justin's now ahead with a pair of jacks.
He checks. Queen on the river.
Bonomo has rivered his straight. He's got the second nuts. Action's on Joe. Bonomo did check the turn to him.
They have a pretty decent size. 215.
Cassidy bets 5,500.
Cassidy's betting, hoping Bonomo would fold a 9 or a busted flush draw that may be paired up. A bossy little finger wag.
Bonomo calls.
2 5s.
Justin just called because there are very few hands that would lead out there and then call a raise that are worse than his hand. Wouldn't care about the money, but that little finger pointing thing wouldn't really fly with me.
I think Justin was just trying to say he's number 1 at this table, which he has been just about all week.
He is number 1.
Action will begin now on the top dog. Bonomo folds. Barry's out of here. Jason Mercier, 10-4.
Jason Mercier was the 2009 Bluff Magazine Player of the Year. He won the title in a nifty little custom chopper. Motorcycle, not aircraft.
Which Justin Bonomo's borrowing tonight to run over the table. Danny Alaei, Jack 10 suited in the small blind.
How much can I make it?
And he...
18.
He wants to raise it up.
Yeah, he does, to 1,600. Pair of queens for Nadya Magnus.
much can I make it?
To pot it would be
54.
That got Danny's attention.
54. He's right.
54.
Nadya re-raises to 5,400.
Danny's out of position, but Jack-10 suited is a hand that can connect in all kinds of ways, and he is playing against a less experienced player.
Danny does call.
With so much at stake, Danny's got to know Nadya has to have some sort of premium hand.
9-5 queen, 2 clubs on the flop.
This is a flop that could get dicey. Nadya's flopped a set of queens. Danny's flopped an up and down straight draw.
Danny checks over to Nadya.
A decent-sized bet here would protect her hand and help her extract value.
Nadya bets 8,000.
Danny's got an open-ended straight draw. If he knew how strong her hand was, he'd actually be more likely to call, knowing he could probably get her whole stack if he connects. I don't think he's going to fold. This is either a call or raise situation.
It's just a call.
This could be ugly for the loose cannon if Danny makes a straight.
7 of diamonds on the turn.
Danny bricks.
And checks.
He also hasn't picked up any additional outs. It's also not a good card for Danny because if he hits his straight with an 8, it'll be harder for him to get action on it. It means his implied odds have dropped considerably.
Nadya bets 20,000.
She wants to win this pot right here.
And Danny disgustedly folds.
This is a huge pot for Nadya, not only because of the size of it, but because she now leapfrogs Ernest Wiggins as the most profitable loose cannon.
Of course, any money that Nadya Magnus wins would go an awfully long way towards strengthening a family bond that extends overseas.
God, it's hard to talk about it. Winning money at this game, I could go home and visit my dad more often than I'm able to right now. And I just don't want to miss out on him like I missed out on my mom. That would really, help me. I can't do this.
Nadya lost her mother 2 years ago. She died 1 week before her daughter was supposed to return to the former Soviet Union for a visit.
It's hard not to root for this loose cannon.
Action continues with Barry Greenstein, who folds. Jason Mercier does as well. Joe Cassidy, ace-10 offsuit. Raises to 1,400. Danny Alaei, the smallest pocket pair you could find.
Ducks, as they call them.
On the button, calls. Nadya, big slick in the small blind.
This is pretty interesting. With only 10 hands left, Nadya could fold her way to a $51,000 profit and eclipse Ernest for the passport, but we've yet to see her shy away from her big hands.
She re-raises to 6,600. Justin Bonomo folds.
Joe knows Nadya has a lot to lose at this point. He also probably knows because of that his ace-10 is not in great shape.
And he folds. So now back to Alaei.
Now, in a normal game, Danny might be getting the right odds to call and try to flop a deuce. But since we're near the end of the session, Nadya may rock up a bit on the flop, and he may not get the action he wants, even if he does flop a set.
The other thing I noticed is Amanda only talks to this end of the table.
Danny's sticking around. He calls.
He might be looking for a little revenge from that last hand.
Queen 10, queen.
Pretty standard spot for most players to continue, but Nadya does have that stack to protect. Looks like she's not backing down at all.
Look at this. She comes out firing 9,500. And Danny folds.
Like Ivan Drago, she will crush you.
Another pot, another $9,000 for Nadya. Her loose cannon lead gets bigger. Can she hold on until the very end? Find out when we come back. Welcome back to the big game in Las Vegas, where Nadya Magnus has more than $63,000 in profits. With just a few hands left, is she going to sit on her lead as the top-earning loose cannon, or, Joe, is she going to get a little frisky with her chips?
I think she'd be thrilled to take that amount home. There's really no reason for her to take any chances unless she wants to try to widen her lead for that NAPT passport.
And remember, Joe, Nadya could actually come back and play again if she has a profit at the end of the night. Joe Cassidy has raised to $1,400. Pair of fives for Danny Alaei.
Danny's picked up a lot of baby pairs tonight. Hasn't connected with any of them yet.
He calls. Nadya on the button. King deuce offsuit. Folds. Justin folds. Barry folds. Down to heads up to the flop.
Got a classic race situation between these guys.
10-5-4.
Scoot your chairs closer to the TV. We've got top pair versus a